Steel boots stomping, crashing the floor. Two wild Yinzers kicking through the door. Loud like a jag-off at a pins game fight. Brace yourself, this ride ain't polite. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Tales from the burg with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. From the bug with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Rivers collide where the laughs always flow. Black and gold thunder everywhere they go. The Metcalf kings breaking every mold. With two Dum Yinzers, the stories don't get old. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice.
Yeah, good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. This is episode 883 of the Two Dum Yinzers. If you can believe it, guys, we were just 17 short shows away from being through season 8. We'll be kicking off season 9, it looks like, in February, and we'll be getting to, it looks like episode 1000 sometime midsummer. We're looking forward to it, guys. It's gonna be big. We got big things planned for the 1000th episode. A lot of things going on this year for the Two Dum Yinzers. I do want to say to everybody, thank you for all your support this season, guys. It's been a lot of fun, and it's going to continue. We got another month, guys. I don't know. I'm liking our Steelers. They woke up. I got to be honest with you. Aaron Rodgers going from the dink and dunk pass to 2-yard, 3-yard passes of not getting anything and not getting any kind of offense going to, what the outbreak that we seen last week without our number one receiver. They might have something up their sleeves. I'd call me crazy, but maybe, just maybe, this team has something up their sleeve again. Just 6 weeks ago, the dinks and the dunks were the game plan. Lose a receiver. Things get better. I don't know. Maybe. I mean, I mentioned this earlier in the year. Maybe did we play possum a little bit? I don't know. But I do know, guys, that we're enjoying the ride. We're here for it all. We love doing it, and we're going to continue this thing as far as we can. Again, I hope it takes us to a 8-1 record to wrap out the season. Boy, would that be great. It would be reminiscent of things that happened 20 years ago, Super Bowl 40. It would be reminiscent of things that happened 30 years ago. It's Super Bowl 30. A lot of things in common with those particular seasons, guys. We did play the NFC North in those divisions, facing the Bears, Lions, Packers, and Vikings in both of those years. Again, here we are at Super Bowl 60. Another season that ends with a 0 with the Super Bowl in the end. And again, we played that NFC North. And in both of those seasons, we needed a little bit of a run at the end to get into the playoffs. If you remember back in 1995, 96, in 1996, we did need to win a bunch of games in a row. We went 8-1 to finish that year, headed into the playoffs, and then made it to the Super Bowl ultimately. And again, the 20 years ago in the Super Bowl 40, we needed to win a bunch of games to make the playoffs. You remember the Chicago game. Bettis running over Brian Urlacher. I think a lot of people do remember that. But again, this does fall in the 20-year category, or in the zero Super Bowl ending in zero category. We did play the NFC North, and we had to have crazy endings to those seasons and a lot of wins to get into the playoffs even. So a lot of similarities between that season, them seasons, and this. A lot to get into today. Welcome back. I'm glad to see everybody across the bottom of the screen. Of course, everybody does know that the Mike Tomlin press conference is going on as of right now. So Mike does have all the most updated information going across the bottom of the screen throughout the course of the show today. Whatever Coach T has to say regarding injuries, anything else for this big game coming up on Monday night, it's going to be right across the bottom of your screen, so you don't miss a thing, everybody. Right down there. Good morning, good afternoon, welcome back, everybody. Glad to see everybody. It's Victory Tuesday. I got to be honest. Who still isn't thinking about that game on Sunday night? I know people in Baltimore sure are, and I know people in Pittsburgh sure are as well, guys. This is again. This is Tom. I'm sorry, not Tom. This is I'm reading messages as I'm going here. This is, of course, Texans week. Texans week in the wild card playoff round, guys, coming Monday night. Lots to get into between now and then, guys. We have a week to prepare. We're going to be ready. Let's hope our Steelers are ready too. Let's get on the board. I do want to say good morning to everybody. I do want to apologize if I didn't get to every comment yesterday on the show. And we know Mondays get busy, but you know what? That is also a great recipe for a lot of messages. So we do appreciate it. Please keep them coming. Don't do anything different, guys. You guys are kicking ass just like your Pittsburgh Steelers are. No surprises here. Got to be honest with you. Miss Pittsburgh, I do want to say good afternoon to you bright and early on the show today. Mrs. Pittsburgh, I think she's ready. Miss Pittsburgh 4247. Great to see you early on the show. She says, here we go. Follows it up by saying, good afternoon, everyone. Here we go, Steeler Nation. Let's go, Steeler Nation. Miss Pittsburgh, come on. If that isn't getting you pumped up, just even those mere words, they're not getting you pumped up at this point. Maybe you don't have a pulse. Great seeing you as always, Miss Pittsburgh. Tyrone, my man, the GOAT. What's up, brother? Always great seeing Tyrone, brother. You know what? I thought about you the other day. I thought about you going to that Browns game. And I thought about you, I thought about us losing. And I thought, Tyrone, better not go to any more Steeler games. Tyrone, if you get any tickets in the playoffs, please, by all means, don't go. I love you, brother. But don't go to any more Steeler games. You've seen what happened when you went to the Cleveland game. Again, I don't know. Go to where you sit when we win. That's all I got to say. But always great seeing the GOAT, Tyrone, on the terrible board. Lindsay, hey, how you doing? Always great seeing Lindsay on the board. Hope all is going well for you, Lindsay. I hope you're getting ready. I know I sure am. I got to be honest. I haven't stopped thinking about the Steeler game from the other night yet. I haven't. Some people are calling it the greatest regular season game ever. I don't agree with that because there's probably many that we've forgotten, of course, over the history. But one thing that I do know, it took the Steelers every single second of this season, every second to get that playoff berth. Ain't that wild? It required every second of our season. But you know what? We stuck it out. We hung in there and we pulled it in and made the catch, guys, if you will. Every second. So just something to think about. It's interesting. It's just, again, you look at these weird kind of seasons, and you try to find things from common seasons in the past that were odd. And again, everything comes back to the 05-06 Super Bowl 40 seasons. And again, 95-96 Super Bowl 30 season. And here we are again, 25-26 on Super Bowl 60. So just throwing it out there, guys. Those were unlikely teams. Pittsburgh in 05 had the worst offensive line in the league. They needed to win out just to get the 6th seed. They did it, and they ran the table. Come on, guys. That's a team that wasn't supposed to be there. That was a team that was supposed to lose to the number 1 Denver Broncos. Interesting. Denver is the number 1 team again after all these years. We had to beat the number 2 Indianapolis Colts in Indianapolis. And we also had to beat the Bengals, who were having a really good season that year. A lot of craziness went down. Again, that team was not even supposed to be in the playoffs. That team, 95, 96, they started 3-4, left for dead. They did what they had to do. Again, I'm just saying, you're looking for those similarities, and you say, wow, those times happen. The Steelers' offense wasn't the best offense in the league by any means in 95, 96. But a lot to get into today, guys. Just some thoughts. Again, I can't stop thinking about the game the other day, and I think there's a lot of people that's right there with me. Let's move on. Yinzer Joe says, Ryan, you got to go live for the big Monday night game. You know what? I don't know. We thought about it. We talked about it. Here's my thing, Joe. I know what it's like to watch a Steeler game. Now, listen, if it was another team and I was watching another game of interest, I would totally buy into lives on during the game reactions. But I know when I'm watching the Steelers, I'm not watching other people. I'm just not. And again, I think that's pretty common. I just again I like to be in my spot. I have to have everything right where it needs to be. I have to have my jersey on. I have to have my terrible towel. Going luck. It was a tortilla. You hit right on the head. It was bad luck when we did. And again, it's not that we don't want to. There's just again, I'm pretty superstitious sometimes, and you got to remember the Chargers game. We did that one live as well. So it's not out of the question. I mean, today we have a week left. It's not out of the question. But again, that's just where I stand with that. Again, I like watching lives again for things that I'm not truly invested in. You know what I mean? I need to focus. They need my energy, just like everybody else. The Steelers need your energy, of course. Let's move on. I do want to say good afternoon to you, Yinzer Joe. Always great seeing Yinzer Joe on the terrible board. Tortilla Teflon Tuesday, everybody. It is Teflon Tuesday. Keep your eye at the bottom of the screen as any new information does come out from the Mike Tolman press conference. Mike will be rolling it across the bottom of the screen. But what I've seen so far, it looks like there's not any injury issues, which is a huge plus. And we're getting DK Metcalf back, guys. So again, we made a little noise last week without our number one, basically our receiver. Yes, Houston's defense is a lot better. And I'm not just saying this. It's a lot better. It's a lot better than the Baltimore Ravens defense, but they're not an unbeatable team. They're not an unbeatable team by any means. You got to get in and really do your research and figure out what these guys are doing if you are the Steelers, though, because again, you got to watch what the division teams do to them. The teams that beat them, to see them twice a season. That's the teams that know how to play the Texans. Obviously, study those films, and you're going to learn things that get it done against that team. So, I'm hoping the Steelers put the work in this week. The game is certainly worth it, as the Steelers do have a Monday night playoff game this coming Monday, guys. Yes, sir. Got him on TV. Tyrone is watching Coach right now. Also, Lindsay says this, just saying what he always says. Oh, yeah, the usual double talk, I guess. If my derpy had lady parts, he'd be wait a minute, he does have lady parts. Shit. Phil the Steel says, what's up, Watt fans? Teflon Don sucks. Cody says this, Teflon press conference time. What up, big Code Dog? Nice seeing you, my man. Always great seeing Cody on the terrible board. Phil as well, Lindsay. Tyrone, everybody. Bingo, what's up, dude? Always great seeing Bingo Winchester on the terrible board. Tyrone says he's talking about the defense of the Texans right now, which is no joke. It really is no joke, guys. They gotta figure this out. But again, it's there to figure out. They're gonna bring it. They're gonna come at Aaron. They're gonna come at our young offensive line. We're gonna see looks that we probably haven't seen all season. But that's what you got to come to expect when you're playing football in January. That's what it's all about. Everybody brings their A game, so we have to do the same. Even if our A game isn't as good as somebody else's A game, you still got to bring your A game. Because your C game sure as hell ain't going to beat somebody's A game. So, again, it's got to be a big week for us guys at practice and preparation and everything. So, Tyrone, I'm sorry, Miss Pittsburgh says we are. I'm still celebrating too. How many times do you just catch yourself thinking about the game in your mind, going back on memories of things that happened and big plays? And it's they say, some are saying this is the best regular season of all time. But again, I think over time you tend to lose memories of other things. And but again, it was a great game. We'll take it. We sure as hell will take it. And I know somebody else who's thinking about that game as well. Not as much and as happily as we are, but those Baltimore Raven fans got to be still thinking about that game. Awfully quiet they have been, I noticed. As Pittsburgh says, here we go. Steelers Tortilla says, I turned my Instagram into Yinzer. Nice. Tortilla, that's what I'm talking about, bro. Yinzergram, I like it. I like it a lot. Roger Murray, what is up, Roger? Glad to see you back, my man, on the terrible board. He says, guys, I don't want to throw shade, but we've been balling ever since Broderick Jones went there. You ain't kidding. And it wasn't like Broderick was even having a terrible season. He wasn't, but you're right. We've been playing really good since Broderick Jones went down, and maybe luckily the injury was a little bit more. Maybe I don't want to say luckily the injury is more serious, but luckily it's allowing us to look at other options, and other things are working. So again, still hope the best for the young man, but at the end of the day, I'm invested in the football team. And what's working best for the football team is my interest. But at the end of the day, I don't want the young man to be hurt. So hope everything goes well for him in his recovery. Cody says this, no shade, deeply agreed. Bingo says, nope, time to focus on Houston. That's right. For us as fans, we're going to take another day or two, basically. We're going to get into it. But the team, they got to focus right now. You had the extra day. Use the extra day. Either get rested up, get ready. But you have to prepare. You got to get. They're going to be ready. Yes, we have advantages. Yes, it's going to be in the cold. Yes, they're from Houston, Texas. Yes, there's things that are going to be to our advantage, but we can't rely on those things. We got to go in and figure out what the hell we got to do to win this football game, guys. Cody says, Brojo got to go. Fucker got to go. That fucker's got to go. I heard you saying that. I truly did. Whether it sounded like that coming out of my mouth, that's what I heard. Tyrone says, hey, I'm 5-1 with my games. I've been okay. You know what? I didn't know that. From the one that I knew, it wasn't good. But if you're 5-1, Lindsay's still saying stay away, though. She's still saying stay away, Tyrone. I don't know. I don't know. What's up, Armac? Always great seeing Armac on the terrible board, brother. Great to see you, sir. Lindsay says the games is what they're talking about. Bingo says this. So, is that the wife that jinxed you, Tyrone? Tyrone says if we make the Super Bowl, he's going to the Super Bowl. Now we'll worry about that when the time comes. But Phil still says, yeah, I'm surprised no divisional two Dum Yinzers watch party. I say you should just in case Teflon Don comes through with the playoff win since the Obama administration. Again, it's been talked about. All right, we got a week to figure it out, but again, you know where I stand on it. Look across the bottom of the screen, seeing some comments that Coach Tomlin did make. He's saying that Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter are the most dynamic edge rushers. Of course, Will Anderson, a nice draft pick a couple years back by Houston, and Hunter from the Minnesota Vikings defense was up there in the lead, running for leading sacks last year in Minnesota. Didn't skip a beat when he did move to Houston. But again, all the latest updates from the Mike Tomlin press conference are going across the bottom of the screen throughout the course of the show as they do become available. Cody says, Tyrone, no good. I don't want my quarterback looking at that face while he throws the ball and somebody give me the towel. That is classic. That if you're going from the Bronx Tale scene when they make the guy sit in the bathroom, I think that's one of the most hilarious scenes. What was the guy's name? Was it a coffee cake or something? I don't remember what his name was, but they made him sit in the bathroom every time they gambled. I don't want this face looking at that face when he's throwing dice. Yeah, if that's the reference. Love it. That might be the game ball right there for the day. Phil still says surprise. Okay, surprise. Got you on that. Tyrone says not married, but I think so. Bingo. Tortilla going live was bad. It was bad luck, dude. Cody says hell nah. He says bad luck, and I kind of feel that way too. And I'm superstitious, so. You and Wade, bad luck. Armax says, what the hell is going on? What's good you guys talking about? Lindsay says, yo, our bad luck. Field of Steel says, no, if you believe Teflon Don is going to do it and get that dreadful playoff win, go live, do it. Show you really believe in it really has nothing to do with believing in Teflon Don. It has all to do with my insanity in my insecurity, in my paranoia. In my again, it's all those things. I'm just a superstitious person sometime, and that's just the way things play out. But But that is why it's not whether I believe or whether I don't believe at all. Tortilla says, I've never seen a loss. We need Tortilla to come to town this weekend. Lindsay says, yeah, my eyes are shut. Also, Yinzer Joe says, yeah, Ryan, I get it. I'm not twisting your arm for a live show. LOL. Some YouTubers have different reasons for and against it. I know I couldn't do it and enjoy. That's the thing. I have to focus. I got to really focus what's going on. And, and then I got to, we'll be here the first thing in the morning talking about it. So, I mean, there's about 3 different levels of watching the game that I do tend to do. And again, if we do, if we're doing something during the game, that's fine. But that's just kind of that's where things fall for me. I usually go back and watch it a second time later that night or in the middle of the night to prepare for the show. But again, to come and have the information and everything that I need to be prepared, it's a process. So again, I don't hate it. I'm not against it. You know what? I'm not even saying that we're not going to do it. I'm just kind of giving you where I'm coming from with that. And I'm not saying that it won't change eventually. But as of right now, this is just where it be. Tortilla says this Monday Night Tomlin. Hey, you know what, baby? Monday Night Tomlin is as good as it gets. Say what you want about the guy. Monday Night Tomlin is as good as it gets. Again, never losing a Monday Night Football game at home. Never. The Steelers actually all the way back to the early 90s haven't. So again, we do have history in our favor. However, whatever makes that, I don't know. Because obviously you're a different team than you were 32 years ago. But whatever makes that go, it does go. And maybe it is those darn football gods that we talk about. And again, Myron making his appearance just the other day. May or may not made balls come off of guys' toes and go wide right. I don't know. I can't confirm nor deny, but we do know that it happened. Miss Pittsburgh said, that's right. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. I know Miss Pittsburgh is feeling it, man. She knows that she can't wait a week. I can just tell. I can tell by her messages. She wants to go right now. Mark Malone, my man. What's up, brother? Always great seeing Mark Malone. He says the Roonies better have Father Callahan out there before the game. Yeah, you ain't kidding. You know what? He'll probably be there. I was reading an article just because of the strong Catholic community in Pittsburgh. A lot of this, I think they do this more often than we know. But again, yes, the priest did make his way down there. He blessed. I seen the shot of right where the ball was missed, where he was blessing. So again, I don't know, guys. It's playoff time. To me, I can't afford to not be superstitious. They need all my energy. It's really important. Let's go on a little bit here. Tortilla says, I thought it was Father Max. He filled in. I don't know what his name was. What was his name, guys? Also, Cody says, watch that Jags, Colts, and Tennessee. Did all those teams suck in and out? Watch that the Jags, Colts, and Tennessee did to Houston. All those teams suck, and in that division is trash. I couldn't agree more. It is a terrible division, and I'm excited to get the AFC South next year and the NFC South. I think it's going to be a good year for us. A couple tough teams at the top because we do get the first place schedule now that we did win. But you know what? Throw Denver and then New England. Other than that, it's AFC South, NFC South, and division games, and also Philadelphia. So that is what the schedule looks like next year. Fearless Steel says Vanilla Finch and Derpy still believe in Teflon and Dawn, and he's going to finally win a playoff game for Steeler Nation. 8 o'clock live, 2 Dum Yinzers Monday night here on the 2 Dum Yinzers. Do it. I don't know. We'll see. A lot of time between then and now. Not and now. A comet could crash into the building and kill us all. We don't know. It's a lot of time between now and then. Let's get to Bingo. Bingo says this quick slant and some sneaky screens will be on the menu for Monday. Anything longer than 3 or 4 seconds will get A-Rod killed. Absolutely. Those guys are they're really fast, and they're going to bring it. Again, this is not – it's going to surprise a lot of people if we do win. Just put it to you that way. Yes, don't look at us being the 4 seed, them being the 5 seed. A lot of people are going to expect Houston to win this football game. You're going to see that, guys. Again, we are 3-point home dogs already heading into the game on Monday. Armax says, Cody, facts. Tortilla says, chill to still. Chill to still. Come on, man. Lindsay says, we're winning a playoff game. I got a feeling, too. And you know what? If we win one, I got a feeling that we could win another. I think it's a mental fart. I do. How could a team do so well to get a record every year, to be respectable, and just totally shit the bed in January every year? It's upstairs. I do believe that. You get these guys right in the head again. Jekyll and Hyde, get them right in the head. I think we have a good chance. I think we have a chance to win the football game on Monday night. I do want to say this, guys. If you want to participate, we certainly welcome you for the Grab My Balls playoff giveaway. That's right, Grab My Balls playoff giveaway. And I'm going to give you a little bit of history on this ball. Yesterday was busy. Yesterday was a little hectic. I didn't get a chance to really get into my balls, but right here behind me that you see these nice you see autographs on there. Now I'm going to tell you the guys, and then I'm going to tell you the backstory here, just so you know. Again, I don't want to feel. I don't want anybody to feel a kind of way. I grabbed this from my personal collection, and I thought, you know what, I want to give this away to somebody that watches the show, and I'm going to do that. But we have a contest this week, guys, running for the playoffs. This is the Grab My Balls playoff giveaway. I grabbed this particular ball right here from my collection, and I want to give it away to somebody that does enjoy this show, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to first of all tell you who's on the ball. Cam Hayward, the captain of our defense. Also, Antonio Brown, the great receiver Antonio Brown, longtime Steeler and Pittsburgh born Charlie Batch. The big David DeCastro spent a lot of years on the offensive line here in Pittsburgh. Cortez Allen, Derek Moy, right here from Rochester High School down the river from Pittsburgh, playing briefly for the Steelers. And finally, Ross Patrone, the special teams maniac. Guys, let me give you a little bit of backstory on this ball, because I see that, and I do want to say thank you to Ms. Pittsburgh and Cody for participating and in entering getting your entry in. $1 is the entry. That's the minimum. For $1 you're in, you're entered. You can do as many as you want. Every dollar is an entry, though. So say, as Cody put in 2, that's 2 entries. So pretty basic. So more about the ball here real quick before we do move on. This ball behind me that you're trying to grab, this ball was, I won it in 2014. The Pittsburgh Steelers, if you're not aware, they do a charity basketball game here in the area. And every year the charity basketball team grabs 5, 6, 7 Steelers, and they send them to different high schools, and they play against the staff, the people of those particular high schools. It raises money for the schools, and it's really good. It's a really good thing. I love it. I've been to about 4 or 5 of these in my life. Excuse me. Now this ball right here behind me, I won it in the raffle. It was a $10 raffle. I put $10 in it. And I mean, it wasn't $10 raffle. It was similar to what we're doing. I put 10 in, and I ended up winning this ball. It's a Nike football. It's fresh. Matter of fact, I just took it out of the box for the show to set it back here. I didn't have space to display the football or the box as well, but this ball does have a Nike box. I'm looking at it right now, and it is a Nike. It's a nice Nike football, again, with the autographs of Cam Hayward, Antonio Brown. That in itself alone, in my opinion, is enough to at least enter your name. Charlie Batch, David DeCastro, Cortez Allen, Derek Moy, and again, Ross Patrone, guys, autographed on this football can be yours in less than a week. All you got to do, as you're seeing on the board, Miss Pittsburgh, Cody, everybody, guys, yesterday, I do appreciate your entries as well. Just $1. Just go right down to the super chat. And you could, again, enter as much as you want. But again, just $1 will get you entered, and that will be a entry per dollar, guys. So again, this ball with those amazing Pittsburgh Steelers could be a centerpiece and a conversation piece at your house for the next big game, maybe the next playoff game, maybe the Super Bowl, huh? So guys, get your entries in. Just $1. I'm not here to make money. I'm going to take the money and put it right back in the show. Maybe get Mike a new camera and a few other things. So it's not a scam, anything like this, guys. This is from my personal collection. I am ready to throw a pass to somebody that does like the show. I'm ready. I'm ready to throw that ball, guys. So jump in on that if you're interested. Let's get back to the terrible board, who, in my opinion, is the smartest group of people and the smartest fan base around the NFL. Let's get right here where Yinzer Joe. Yinzer Joe, no, not Yinzer Joe just yet. Yes, maybe it is. End of days. What's up, end of days? Always great seeing end of day 75680. He says the Steelers have not lost a Monday night game. They haven't lost a Monday night game since 1992. At home. The Steelers, I mean, it was a big thing when Cowher played. That was his thing. We just didn't lose. We didn't lose Monday night home games. And unbelievably, here in 2026, we're still able to say that, guys. Again, there's teams out there to play well. There's teams out there that have good seasons. But you know what? There's also teams that are consistently good Maybe we haven't won a Super Bowl in a couple years, but there's teams that would love to be in our shoes, guys. Pittsburgh Steelers, in my opinion, have just as good a chance this year as anybody until I'm proven otherwise. Yes, Houston's defense is good. Yes, they got a good thing. We just can't overlook them. Preparation is key, as always. This is the biggest game, obviously, of the year. Yinzer Joe says Tomlin and the Steelers will be ready with an extra day of preparation. I think they'll figure out ways to get points. They'll play well on Monday nights. And as they did get their first non-Monday night win of the season, also Sunday. Are we turning the corner? Maybe? Vegas, what's up, bro? Always great seeing the great Vegas on the terrible board. Vegas says this, Baltimore's I seen this, guys. I was going to bring it up, but you know what? I'm going to talk about it right now because Vegas, you are the man. And it's all their own fault. They know not. They don't know any better in Baltimore. The mayor takes the terrible towel. Listen to this. As stupid as this is. And he wipes his butt with it, like to be funny. You know what I mean? On the outside of his britches, I assume. But the mayor, in order to get the city fired up, he pretends to wipe his ass with the terrible towel after the curse of the terrible towel killed them for 8 straight games prior to last season, as we did win 8 in a row against the Ravens all the way up through the middle of last season before they did get their 2. Again, we did beat them 10 out of the last 12 meetings. Just keep that in mind for all your Raven fans that want to come back and talk shit. You guys ain't going to win. Well, if you thought you were going to win and we beat you, again, hating, guys. Let's move on. But yeah, who does, you don't, come on. People around the league know better. Cincinnati learned the hard way. Everybody that learns the hard way. But Baltimore, boy, are they stupid to continue to keep messing with the terrible towel. Again, after going 0-8 on a stretch. Unbelievable. They did it again, guys. That's right. They did it again. Wiped their butt with the terrible towel. The mayor should have known better. And they take the loss. And they're quite devastated from everything that I'm seeing, guys, in Baltimore. I got to be honest. No wonder they're not popping in. Ugh. Cody says, yes, Coffee Cake. That was the guy. The guy on Bronx Tale, Coffee Cake, was the guy they made go sit in the bathroom when they were gambling on the Bronx Tale. Sonny. C was the little boy. Sonny was the gangster. Hey, I don't want you looking at his face. I don't want this face looking at that face when he's yes. Game ball. Certainly game ball comment right there. Cody. Tyrone says, we're winning this game. Mark Maloney says, yeah, no lives. Lindsay says they do. LOL. Tyrone, Tomlin going to have a good game plan. Smith and Austin better be ready. I'm hoping. And you know what? That's what they have to do. If they do what they have to do, they stand a chance. Tortilla is saying, end of days is saying 31-21 to Steelers. Tortilla is saying 38-17 to Steelers. Lindsay says DK is coming back. Let Aaron call. And you know what, guys? Boy, wouldn't it be nice if DK said, you know what? I'm going to make up for what the problems that I've caused. Say what you want. I mean, I just like the guy in Detroit as much as everybody else. The idiot with blue hair. Whether he's this way, I don't know. I don't like him. But at the end of the day, DK did F up, guys, and I hope that he could make it all worth it. He could make it. What's the word? What's the term I'm looking for, Mike? He could make it right. He can make it right on Monday night and have a big game for us, guys. We could certainly use it. We could certainly need it. So let's hope that happens. DK, Tyrone is saying this, over 100 yards. Watch. I hope you're right, dude. Hope you're right. Lindsay says DK is coming back. Let Aaron call his own plays. Yinzer Joe. Hey, you know what? That's awfully that's a situation too. Everyone's constantly saying that Aaron calls his own plays, which I think that he plays a big part. Remember burning those 2 timeouts the other day when he wasn't getting it, when his radio wasn't working right. So again, who's really calling the plays? Again, I'm not saying Aaron doesn't. I'm saying that he does from time to time, and maybe more than that. But again, made you wonder when the radio went out in his helmet during the game. Yinzer Joe says this, I'd like to talk to Jeff Reed or Anderson about the football and different things they look, hear, feel while preparing for an important kick. You know what? I can actually. He says, I could try to get him this week, but I do have open communications with Jeff Reed as we were planning to have him on a little bit earlier, and it didn't. He's a busy guy, actually. He parties a lot. but he's also very busy down in Carolina as he does own a restaurant, his own bar restaurant. He does his own thing. But I could try. He's been one of the more difficult guys to hook, but I do have an open line. Maybe I will reach out to Jeff because it would be great to hear what he has to say. Great suggestion, Yinzer Joe. Tyrone says DK over 100 yards. I hope you're right, dude. Bingo says 30-27 Steelers. Cody, $2. I'm getting to those. I do want to say thank you, guys, and I do want to say good luck. I hope everybody that participates, I wish you all the best of luck in getting the chance to grab my balls. That's right here. The Grab My Balls playoff giveaway. Don't miss out, guys. It's a pretty damn good a ball going out there. A lot of awesome autographs. And again, if it didn't have relevant autographs, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't give you something with a bunch of scrubs and schlubs. This, again, guys, has Cam Hayward, Antonio Brown, Charlie Batch, David DeCastro, Cortez Allen, Derek Moy, and Ross Patrone. Getting to see those guys play basketball was pretty awesome in itself. But that is where this ball did come from, guys. It is a nice Nike football, guys. Let's do a move on here. Bingo, he says, LOL, definition of one-upper. Mark Malone says, we've got a shot for sure. We've got the quarterback to navigate through the elementary bullshit. I think we have a pretty good advantage with our quarterback. They're saying that we're basically the 13th out of the 14th best team in the playoffs, which we like. Don't get me wrong. I like that. I want to be an underdog. I want our backs to be against the wall. Pittsburgh football teams don't play well when they do have the accolades and getting all the attention. So I dig this. And you know what? With the guy, what's on top of Aaron Rodgers' shoulders is what I like about him. And again, I think that he could do some things in the playoffs. I do think that. Combine it with perhaps this being a special season. Who knows? Again, who knows what's going on? Guys, let's do a move on here. Mark Malone says, I'm sorry. Tortilla says MVS, baby. Juan Valdez-Scantling, he needs to come up in his game. He needs to make some plays. Tyrone also says, in Rod we trust. Tortilla says, Cody's like a dog. They dangle a ball in his face and he'll go and fetch it. Yinzer Joe says, I feel like the DK suspension was kind of a blessing in disguise. Rodgers now has a connection with other receivers now, so there will be more options on not just to play. Hey, that's a good point. Yinzer Joe, you're bringing it today, brother. Bingo says, I went to one of those games here in Eastern Ohio, got autographs from Dwayne Woodruff and Keith Willis years ago. That's awesome. Hey, ain't they a blast? We had one in my senior year in high school. Eric Green came to my high school. He dunked the ball. Yeah, that big son of a bitch dunked the ball. I've never seen our backboard shake the way that it did. As big as he was, boom! And that backboard just side to side. It was unbelievable. Neil O'Donnell, he was actually at that game. Justin Strelzik was there. Dwight Stone was there. Those are a lot of fun. I've been to about 4 or 5 in my life. Tortilla says, yeah, if he throws the MVS instead of DK, I'm crashing out. Tortilla says, I don't care if MVS is open. He's not. A-Rod throw to who open? Cody says, yes, I am the smartest. Hey, you're a pretty bright young man, Cody, I got to admit. Two Dum Yinzers. This came from right here from the studio. Rod Woodson made sure I got every player's autograph at one of those games because an adult pushed me out of the way. He had the guy kicked out. And do you imagine that little vanilla getting pushed out of the way? And that's awesome. That is really awesome. Bingo says, I don't care who he throws to, just catch the fucking thing. Facts, Bingo. Just move to chains, like Tyrone's saying. Yinzer Joe says, at Tortilla, DK is going to be locked down by Stingley and possibly a safety. Others have to get open. Tyrone says, hey, DK, got a chance to be good. Matchups, Big Zeus. What up, Big Zeus? Always great seeing Big Zeus on the terrible board. He says this. What's up, sir? Texans is it is. But again, it's a very good team as well. This game should be given a lot more attention than any game. Again, because it is the playoffs. It's a different level of football you get in the playoffs. And again, coming in as the 13th seed, basically, is what people are saying. Out of the 14 playoff teams, you got to put the work in. Nobody's going to roll over for the Pittsburgh Steelers certainly anymore at this point. It will happen in the future again once we start winning. But nobody is afraid of us. But that's not the worst thing ever. We as fans don't like that. But again, I think it plays a bit of an advantage to the team. Again, people, they overlook teams like the Steelers, even in the playoffs. I do believe that. Wow, he did that. Lindsay says to Dum Yinzers also says, should see what Derpy does with his what Derpy does with his towel. Turbo Duran, I do want to say welcome back to the Terrible Board. Great to see you, Turbo. He says this: how do you feel about the Texans defense? Defense is going to eat on old Aaron Rodgers. Well, all year long, people have been telling us about old Aaron Rodgers is going to get ate up. We're 10-7. He missed a game and a loss, so he's technically 10-6. All season long, everybody told us about how his old ass is not going to be able to do anything. At the end of the day, he qualified. He got this team in the playoffs. Was supposed to finish in last place. Certainly close to Cleveland was the predictions. The last 5 games of the season, both Baltimore games in the sweep. The Miami Dolphin game that we were supposed to get ran all over. And I don't even remember the other game that we won. I'm all right off the top of my head, but the point being is this. All year long, people told us how old Aaron Rodgers was not going to get it done. And I got to be honest with you, a lot of those people's teams are not in the playoffs. I'm just saying. Even the team that grabbed the great George Pickens, they're watching from the couch. Even the team that was really confident they were going to beat the Steelers Sunday night, they're watching from the couch. A lot of people that said that our old quarterback wasn't going to get it done are going to be watching the football game from the same place that you and I are going to be watching it from this weekend. So do what you want with that. What up, my man RB, the CBS Pick'em winner? I do want to say congratulations to you before I do say anything else, but I do want to say RB did get in on the raffle as well for his opportunity to grab my balls in the Grab My Balls playoff giveaway. That's right, you can win this awesome autographed football right here behind me from my personal collection. This isn't donated to me. This isn't somebody saying, hey, do this for nothing. I went into my Steelers collection, which there's a lot of cool things. And I said, you know what? I want to give this to somebody, guys. I truly want to give it to somebody that's involved and invested in our show. Not monetarily, just loves the show. I want to give it to you to show you our thanks right here, guys, because we certainly are thankful for you for this great season. Right here on the show, you guys certainly make it all worth it. Thank you, everybody, and good luck again to anybody who does enter. Bingo says this, haters can take it up with the league. They're the ones scripting the scripts, or they're the one writing the scripts. Cody says, I had to take some time off of work on the space shuttle to work in the oil field. It's more of a hobby, but hey, I love what I do. I work with retards, and I don't let anybody tell me who I can't work with. I don't know exactly what that means, but I could relate. I've had plenty of jobs where I worked with retards, and I got to be honest with you. You find a job you like, you know what? It is what it is. You got to make money, right, guys? Mark Malone. I'm sorry, Cody, my man. What's up, brother? He says this. That was Cody. Sorry. My Mark Malone. This is where we're at 2 Dum Yinzers. I hope to Christ that he isn't polishing Peach's strap on with it. Again, Derpy's questionable actions with his terrible towel. Bingo says this. You take the Burger King. You take the to Burger King and stuff, Cody. End of day says we're winning this game 31-21. I think it's gonna be a lot closer. Listen, if we win, I think it's gonna be a crazy ending again. I do. Again, Houston's really pretty good, guys. If we win, I think it's gonna be a crazy ending. I really do. But that's just my opinion. Let's move on. Also, RB says this: you hear first, Austin is going to retire, and Tallman is going to push for Raheem Morris. That's interesting. As Raheem Morris did get fired from Atlanta, a handful of coaches did get canned just yesterday. Guys, after the NFL season did conclude on Sunday night, Raheem Morris, of course, from Atlanta, Brian Callahan from Tennessee, Brian DeBall from the New York Giants, and also Kevin Stefanski. I do want to say one thing about Stefanski. You got to give him credit. He managed to win Coach of the Year awards. Let that sink in. Kevin Stefanski's been the coach of the Cleveland Browns for 6 years, and he's won Coach of the Year awards. I'm not bad-mouthing our coach, but as Hall of Fame-ish as he's been for the past 19 seasons, why has our head coach never been anywhere near a Coach of the Year award? I'm just saying. I'm not even trying to kick any dust up. I'm just saying. Kevin Stefanski, 6 years, Coach of the Year. Mike Tomlin, Hall of Fame career, almost 20 years. Never once. Just an interesting question. Maybe we'll get more into that down the road. Tortilla says this: Rogers gonna let that thing fly regardless who's on DK. And we're gonna get the ball down the field. We have to. That defense again, they're really good. We're gonna have to try some different things, guys, and stick with the game plan. Big Zeus, what up, Big Zeus? Big Zeus says this: DK owes us fans another. You're right, he does owe us. Nobody owes you anything. What are these guys? They don't owe you any bullshit. Bullshit. You're the consumer. You're the people that put the money into this company. The money that keeps this company going. The money that pays a lot of. Come on, he owes us. He does. Almost effed us with stupidity. I'd like to see a little bit of a payback, and then we can all move forward, right, guys? Dum Yinzers says more like cleans up peach. Ugh. Somber, what up, my man? Somber says Broncos defensive coordinator Vance Joseph interviewing with the Raiders, Titans, Cardinals, and the Giants for head coach. Cody says Rogers' wife hijacked Arthur Smith's mic, and my man didn't want to hear it. Shouting out all of her instructions from home, maybe. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows what the hell happened with that helmet? Bingo says there's a fine line between audibles and calling my own plays. A-Rod is doing his best Tomlin impression. I'm sorry. Somber says Mike Tomlin on the playoff drought. I'm not going to unpack my bags on the collective bed, if you will. He's more cryptic than the Holy Bible, this guy. The way he tries. What's he, you know what I mean? What are you? What are you doing? What these? Come on. These Tomlinisms. I've never seen anything like it. Cody says this: I'm going to try that. I'm going to try that out next time my boss yells at me. I'm going to point at my hard hat in motion. I can't hear you. This thing is. Do it. I'd like to see it, and then rub your tummy and walk away. Let's go to RB. He says, "Do you have an open line to Troy Edwards?" I remember is Troy Edwards. I'll get back to my question here after I read your comment. Do you have an open line to Troy Edwards? I remember on Fox Sports back when it was just a local-based network. Savern had him on live to explain the art of returning kicks. I do not, but I could pursue. I could reach out and see if I can grab him. But is he? Who died? Which was it? Charles Johnson? My first instinct when you read that was that he died, but I think it's Charles Johnson. Out of Colorado, the receiver played around the same time, but I think Troy Edwards is still alive, right? RB also says this: Edwards is in his Southern Ebonics said all sorts of bitches and motherfucking like 4 times in like 10 seconds, and it cut to commercial, and he was gone, and they acted like it never happened. I was thinking the other day we were talking to to Levon and Chad. And it made me think, remember when we won the AFC Championship game back in the 90s? And after that game against the Colts, on national TV, Greg Lloyd was excitable when they were talking to him and interviewing him. And after he goes on and on about, everything about the game, he finishes it up by saying, and we're going to the motherfucking Super Bowl. And it was as clear as anything on live TV. It was, it made me think of that when we were talking to the guys. And just, again, one of them moments that you'll never forget. I'll never forget. Excuse me. Let's go to Tyrone. He says this: defense pressure CJ and put JPJ on Collins. It's gonna be tough one, man. O-line got to eat. The offensive line really got to step up. This game, this has to be possibly one of the best games played by the Steelers offensive line. I'm going to be honest. They have to play their best game. This defense is that good. And here's the thing. We played a damn good defense 2 weeks ago with Cleveland. They had the number 1 pass defense. It's going to be similar. You got to keep that in mind, guys, going into it. We scored 6 points. I say the points are the premium. I don't think that you could F around with dumb 4th down plays. You have to play this game smart. You got to play this game fundamentally sound. You got to, if you want to win, again, converting on 4th down is kind of sexy in a way. But if you're the 13th seed, basically out of 14, you don't want to piss around. Points are the premium. Get your points. Don't leave any on the field. That's just my opinion. Somber says some bumps and bruises from Sunday could cause players to be limited, but no one expected to miss the wild card game. All players that returned to action last week did so without injury. That is from Alan Saunders. Thank you for that, Somber. Lindsay says media hates it. Absolutely. They always have. F them. Don't even, hey. That's why people don't. Yeah. If you're a Steelers fan, the media is garbage. Bingo says this best case scenario, we don't hear anyone's name from the office. That's a great sign. Have you heard Fatanu's name all year? That's a great sign. The fact that I can't even remember the right tackle's name or the right guard's name half of the time, that's a good sign. And not for me, but in general. Zach Frazier, how many times have you heard him badmouthed on TV? Nothing. Everything on the left side of the line where the injuries were, that's all you hear. But again, Cook stepping in and doing a great job at the left tackle and Ciamalo coming back healthy. These are good signs about an offensive line. They truly are being young and being the future of the team moving forward. It's truly a great sign for the Steelers offensive line. Somber says Tallman on DK. I think he's in a great place. He's happy to be back. He's happy to be in the tournament, ready to go to work. Well, I hope he is. Last time we seen him, he was punching people in the head. We got to focus. They got get your guys ready. That's all. Get them ready. Mark Malone, I wonder how full speed Calvin Austin the third was. Good question. And today says Roger is going to clean the Texans clock. I hope you're right. I hope you're right. Interest Joe says this. How do you think GP feels about his old team? Who knows? Listen, that conversation to me is basically what the Smiles Carrot conversation is about the sack record. I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? And people are going to bring it up. Oh, well, you give away George Pickens. Man, you know what? F you. We don't have him anymore. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? I'm not going to sit around and cry about it. We're going to find ways to win football games. You know what I mean? And same with Smiles. Guess what? A couple years ago, we didn't have the record. What's the difference? Go out and try to win football games. It's nice. It's a luxury about your team and players on your team. But at the end of the day, what's it really doing for us? If Smiles, Carrot, or TJ Watt has the record, nothing. Absolutely nothing. And again, who knows? Maybe TJ will try to earn that money next year and get 25 sacks. Who knows? After dropping from Miles. So again, I can't say that I'm concerned about it. I can't say that I'm too concerned about that either. Tyrone says Warren Gainwell going to eat. They better. We got to be able to do everything. We got to be able to run. We got to be able to pass. We got to be able to mix it up. We got to be able to keep them off balance. We got to be able to throw some things in there that they've never seen. But more than anything, you got to be fundamental. You got to play well, good fundamental football, especially against a team with a defense like that. It's very similar to the Cleveland Browns, guys, in a lot of ways. And they have an offense. So that's the thing that kind of makes this a scary team. They could do the things that Cleveland did on defense, but CJ Stroud and these young receivers, they have a way as well, guys. So let's hope the weather can maybe neutralize that a little bit as we go into this game. GP posted Austin play. Mark Malone says, I still have a few Mark Malone, Bobby Brister, and Neil O'Donnell football cards. No, you know what? I do too. I was thinking about throwing something like that in, but I don't know. None of that really. Like I said, I really wanted to give something away to you guys, something that means something to me. It truly does, and because you guys do so much for this show, and you are the lifeblood. And I do. I want somebody to have this. I can't wait. I can't wait to throw it to whoever is going to receive it. Whoever grabs my balls, guys, don't forget to get in on this giveaway. Let's go to still wish we had GP. At the end of the day, yeah, of course, right, Lindsay? I agree, but I'm not going to dwell on it. What are we going to do? He's not coming back. Bleh. We would have loved to watch the George Pickens and DK Metcalf experience. Who wasn't excited about that last year? Tyrone, me too. Lindsay Roger is saying also Bingo says Kevin Stefanski isn't the problem. He's not. Watch him go. I don't know about the Raiders, but I was talking with my friend this the other night. We were texting. There's teams that are good organizations. There's teams that are bad organizations. There's teams that find ways to stay healthy in the sense of being a strong football team. Even if you don't win winning a Super Bowl is hard. But if you look at the solid organizations, Pittsburgh's, the New England's, the Green Bay's, the San Francisco, even for that matter, these cities, these teams, they find ways to stay competitive every year, and they're good every year. Again, winning the Super Bowl, that's an outlier thing. Not everybody, winning the Super Bowl is hard, and we did win more than anybody else, of course, tied with New England. So that does say something as well. But there's just some teams that are bad organizations no matter what, and they always been, and they're going to be until they decide to change stuff. The Raiders being one, the Browns being another, the Arizona Cardinals. Come on. These people can't possibly be doing a good job with this organization. For many of years, they couldn't have been, because if they were, you would see the results somewhere. You never see it. And again, the Steelers, the Patriots, the Packers, the 49ers, they always stay relatively relevant, even if they're not winning Super Bowls. So, again, it's more than the 53 guys and the coaches that are on the sideline. To be a successful to be a successful football team in the NFL, to be a successful football team of the 32 of the best in this particular sport and its entertainment field. So again, that is what it is. I don't see Finch is sold on the fact that Deion Sanders, the Browns are going to be lobbying for Deion. I don't know if they are or they're not, but after the great job I think he's doing in Colorado, it sounds very Cleveland like to me. So again, I don't know. Finch has been going on that one, but I'm not quite sure. Finch also had Phillip Rivers winning the Super Bowl just 2 weeks ago. So, Somber says, DK don't know you anything. You know what? I think he does. Is a fan, because here's the thing. He's a football player. DK Metcalf, the guy, the human being, owes us nothing. I agree. I couldn't agree with you more, Somber. But DK Metcalf, the football player, owes the football fan something, because he could have certainly cost this team everything. He's the number one. He's our only receiver. We never went out and got a number two. Legitimately. To take himself out of the two biggest games of the year, the most important time of the year, as a football player to the fans, he does owe you. Not as a person, not as a human being, not as DK to Somber, but what he did for your interests and what you're watching him for, he did jeopardize that. So for those things, he does owe you. He owes that fan of KO. Yeah, you ain't shitting. Tyrone says DK just needs to play. Cody says the coach of the year is for coaches that are 1-16, that are 1-16 1 year to 4-13 the next year, apparently, right? And also they beat the state. They finished higher than the Steelers in the division for the first time since 1987. That particular year as well. Apparently that's good enough. Once you beat the Steelers, you then could be a coach of the season. But that's what happened that year. He was coach of the year. Yinzer Joe says this. I say if Arthur Smith leaves, then we bring Stefanski in. Razzie plays. What's up? I do want to say, Razzie, welcome to the terrible board. Razzie says, go Steelers. Welcome. We appreciate your message. Welcome to the show. Tyrone says, I don't know, Joe. On the Stefanski comment, I do think again he's been tainted with Cleveland, and I don't know. I don't know how much I want that comes from that city. I get nervous just because where I live, it's within an hour and a half, hour and 45-minute drive from that city. I don't want anything flowing down here. I just don't. GP at home on the couch, just learning. What up, my man? Always great seeing just learning on the terrible board. GP is home on the couch. So say what you will. With a possible MVP quarterback. They go on and on about Dak Prescott could be a MVP. And then you got CeeDee Lamb. That team's at home on the couch, guys. I'm just saying. We're a team with one receiver who didn't play in the two biggest games of the year. No number two receiver. And an old man, as everybody continues to talk about Aaron. And we are in the playoffs. So, again, do what you want. Cody says this. JPJ would hand Collins off to Duggar. As long as somebody stays on him. At this point, I don't care who, as long as there's a body on him. We can't have you can't have the stinkers like you had against Baltimore. You can't. Listen, if they score 3 touchdowns off of 2 touchdowns off of the broken plays like they did, Houston will win that football game. Their defense is too good. We can't afford that. We can't say, well, you know what? Well, they score. We're just going to drive right down the field and score. Houston is a different defense, guys. Again, we're going to see it. We'll see it Monday night. But just think back to Cleveland. I'm not saying that to be discouraging. I'm just trying to put it out there. It's not going to be like driving the ball down the field against Baltimore. You're not going to be able to leave points on the field. You got to play a good, smart football game, guys, and it may come down to the very end again. Mark Malone says, yeah, offensive line has come through in the clutch. They really have. They really have. Bingo says, yeah, I remember 95 dropping the F-bomb on TV. My dad got mad at me for some reason. He sent Bingo to his room. We feel good. We're going to the motherfucking Super Bowl. Bingo's dad. Bingo, go to your room. Tyrone says, you think that's funny, Sandy? Also, Joe says, well, the Steelers didn't have DK for the second meeting against Cleveland. Steelers won the first time with him. It's a good point. Joe is on fire today. I do want to say, that's great seeing you, Joe. Hope everything's been going well for you, man. Somber says D-line has to eat as well. Make it hard. Exactly. We have to apply pressure on CJ Stroud. You have to. You have to. This is something we have to improve on, guys. And again, you shouldn't stop improving all year, no matter what. The offensive line has to get pressure on these guys. They have to. They have to. Mark Malone says, Cook replacing Robustrous has changed everything. It seems like a stroke of genius so far. RV says this: Washington moved on from Cliff Kingsbury and their defensive coordinator this morning. Okay, I'm getting a lot of movement going on around the league, guys. You're going to see guys becoming available. Somebody asked on the board yesterday. I never got to it. I went back as I was watching things last night on the show. Somebody asked last night, do you think that Arthur Smith is going to go somewhere? Do you think Arthur Smith, and what do you guys think about that? What do you think of, let's say we win. We win the first playoff game we won in 8 years, whatever it's been. How do you feel if somebody comes along and snags Arthur Smith? Is that good? Is that bad? It was an interesting question. And again, it's going to be certainly brought up a lot more over the next couple months. What do you guys think? Arthur Smith, if he gets snagged, are you okay with that? Are you finally, is the Arthur Smith offense finally growing on you? I don't know. Good question, though, guys. Let me know what you think on the board. Somber says, same. He's gone. I don't care. That's what I'm saying. Anybody. We could sit around and cry about everybody if we wanted to. Franco Harris finished out in Seattle. So that's kind of where I grew that mentality for very early. Yes, they'll always be our guy. But at the end of the day, you can't, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? RB, I'm sorry, Donald, my man, Donald Lurie. Always great seeing Donald Lurie on the board. He says, now that we have an offensive line, we need to find our franchise quarterback. And you know what? Ultimately, in the grand scheme of things, wasn't that part of the big picture? Start building through the draft, get that interior line worked on, get your guys, and then when you're more ready, prepared for that quarterback, then go get them. Now you're not putting them in danger. Now you're not putting your franchise quarterback at risk playing behind a perforated line. And, so again, in a way, this is exactly what it is that they said that they would be doing. So let's see what the next move is. RB, he says, Yinzer Joe, Stefanski and Tomlin are buddies. So that is viable. But I think Stefanski gets a head coach job before the Super Bowl. End of day says Metcalf and Austin will shine 31-21. Cody says George Pickens is probably checking himself out in the mirror saying we suck, but at least I made the Pro Bowl. At least I got the bag. Somber, he says we still need a left guard. Isaac will retire soon, if not this offseason. And again, and you're right, Somber, we do. We got 12 draft picks, though. 12. And depending on what we do early, we trading up, we trying to get a quarterback, whatever the case may be. We do have 12 draft picks in a draft right here about 108 days from now, right here on the North Shore, guys. So again, it's going to be big. It's a big year. 2026 is going to be big for our Steelers, guys. Feels as Belch also, too. Dum Yinzers, wouldn't be surprised if we draft an interior lineman in the third round. RB says, I think Broad would have made a better guard than tackle, and I said that since he came out. Possibly. Tyrone says, maybe for real. Also, Somber says, yep, I can see guard in rounds 1 through. I could, and also, let's say it hurts us. Let's say somebody blows right by, somebody in the offensive line in this next game, and it ultimately hurts us. I think that, ultimately affects the way you draft as well. There's been times I've seen when that one guy F something up to end of season and they can him or let him go or whatever. You're looking for somebody to come back who's a lot better, and a lot of teams do address that kind of situation with the draft. So again, let's watch the way this thing plays out. But we will, of course, need that left guard moving forward. No two ways about that. Tyrone says we need a wide receiver before guard. We sure do. We sure do. Extend Cook, Mark Malone is saying. Lindsay, yeah, Tyrone, I agree. Mark Malone need at least 2 wide receivers high. Just Learning says we have a lot off picks. It's going to be interesting. We have a lot of picks. It's going to be interesting. Absolutely, man. 12 picks right here in Pittsburgh. We're gonna want to make a splash. No two ways about that. Somber says I wouldn't hope. Mark Malone says could be a guard if there's a super badass. Lindsay says, yeah, I doubt it. That what I want though. That's what she wants. Gotcha. Somber says same. LOL. Lindsay, that's okay. She says yes. That's what I've got you on that. Tyrone says we'll see. Depends on how far we make. Absolutely. If you don't think that what's going down over this next week and beyond doesn't play a role in the draft, you're out of your mind. It plays a big role in what's going to go down in April. It's going to play a big role. It really is. And we do know what we need. We know what we want. Free agency and there's a lot. There's still a lot, guys. So, of course, we're going to focus on Houston because, again, that is right in front of us. Nothing else happens without that game taking place. But these conversations will certainly be happening here over the next month for sure here on the show, guys. Keep bringing the good ideas, the good topics, and good comments because we're going to talk about it all. Draft order is locked, Somber is saying. Yinzer Joe says Dion isn't leaving Colorado. He's making $54 million through 2029. There you go, Finch. Finch is sold. He's sold. He thinks that Dion will be coaching those Browns. Cody says yes. DK, he does. He owes us. And it's weird to say that. It's weird to hear that. And people are gonna say he don't owe you anything. But at the end of the day, what are we involved in? What are we all involved in? Right? He owes us. Let's go with that anyway. At least maybe that will get to make the juju right in the air, and he'll make it right. Somber says you're right. He owes me a video of him knocking Blue Wig out after he retires. That is what he owes me. I'd love to see it too. And that guy looked like an asshole. No two ways about it. I mean, obviously we've seen him at the game, but if you've seen him afterwards, he was with his lawyer. He just he looked like a bit of an asshole. I don't know the guy. I don't know, but he seems to have these issues with a lot of different people and players. So that's what I'm basing that off of. Cody says this. He could pay my medical bill. I've had 2 heart attacks. Yeah, since he left. I got you on that. 2 heart attacks since he left. Yes, me too. Phil says there truly was no D in Dallas. Screw them chokers. There wasn't. Was Micah Parsons that big of a difference for that? Lindsay said he's definitely getting sued for the BS, even though the fans. That's what I'm saying. It is BS. This dude is out to get these guys because they have a lot of money. Maybe the judge will see that. Mark Malone says we need to jump out to a lead for once. I was thinking of that too, Mark. Did the Steelers ever jump out to a lead? I think if we jumped out to a lead, it might not be a good sign. I'm just saying. It seems like what we're doing is what works for Mike Tomlin coached Steelers teams. And you know what? We win a lot of games. Not all the most irrelevant games, but we win a lot of football games over, through the course of every season, guys. I don't know if we've ever scored first in any of them. Obviously being facetious, but you know what I mean? It might throw us off if we score first. I don't know. Steeler Freak says this, though. He does say, I do want to say hey to John. Always great seeing John. Any given week, 1 week at a time in the play. And that's what I'm saying, dude. John, and you and I have a lot of common opinions on just the way things are with this team. But sometimes you just got to put it on the back seat and enjoy the ride and say, you know what? Especially the league now. Maybe, just maybe anybody can pull this off. Tyrone, let's come out hot. I'll believe that when I see it. I mean, in all honesty, we want that. Yes, we'd love to come out hot, but at the end of the day, I'll believe that when I see it. Hot Wangs, Hot Wangs. I love this name. I think it's hilarious. Hot Wang says, "Won't he do it? Won't he do it?" I'm not sure what that was referring to. Just Learning says this. In reality, what would that fan get? I don't know. I don't know. But there's people that just do this kind of shit, though. You know what I'm saying? Who knows what he's going to get? He's going to get something. He had a millionaire punch in his face, grab, and then he didn't hit him per se. But at the end of the day, that doesn't usually spell well for the defendant, unfortunately, in this particular case, for sure. Lindsay says, I hope. Yes, he's gone. Tyrone says, yes, bye, Lindsay. Hot Wang, ZZ Top called. They want their swag back. Oh, they can't have it, baby. Hot Wangs, they ain't getting this swag back. Mm-mm. And the Days also says Arthur Smith will probably leave. You guys okay with that? You guys okay with Arthur Smith leaving? Just curious to see what the Steeler Nation collective feels about that. Cody's saying, peace, Arthur Smith. Peace, Terrell Austin. Just Learning says Smith is a head coach. I don't see it. Hey, he was 7-10 3 years in a row in Atlanta when he did get the opportunity. He did get hired because he did such a great job that one season in Tennessee that we keep hearing about because he had Derrick Henry and other things going on. But he got that head coaching job in Atlanta, and he went 7-10 3 years in a row. So again, maybe he looks at things that way as well. We will see. Mark Malone, it doesn't matter if Tomlin is a head coach. No middle of the field with Fitcher, Canada, or Smith. Mark Malone, Smith used to own. Smith used to own the MOF. Somber says that fan will be looking over his shoulder for the next 5 years minimum. I hope the lawsuit was worth the stress. Karma is a motherfucker. Lindsay says, yes, Somber it is. Tortilla says trade for YB. Hot Wag says a win is a win. Wow, everybody, grandma okay? What are you even talking about? I think Hot Wangs is stupid. At least mentally challenged, because it certainly looks like it in his writing. Jeremy Olson, what's up, bro? Always great seeing Jeremy Olson on the terrible board. Love how Tomlin just commented on how Rodgers is helping develop Will Howard for the future. Sounds like some breadcrumbs for what the plan is. Interesting. Roger Murray says, I'm not impressed about the Arthur Smith offense. I don't see the difference from what we had with Russell, and then Fields, and then now to Aaron. All right, it's a very valid opinion, and there's a lot of people that might agree with that. And I'm not saying that I don't agree with that. I'm just again, I'm kind of curious what everybody else thinks about it. I don't see 77 at G anywhere. Somber says end of days trade up for a Somber about the guard position, of course. Somber was saying end of days says this. He says trade up, draft a quarterback. Lindsay says YB wide receiver 2. Tyrone says 1. Jeremy Olson says we're going to take Lemon in the first round. Yinzer Joe, we can now trade Broad and a pick for a guard. Why not? Hey, you know what? You can throw him in there for some leverage, guys. He was the starting tackle for the before the injury, and yeah, maybe you can throw him in there somewhere too. Yinzer Joe says we can now. Okay, there it is. Lindsay, yeah, false. Tortilla built like Calvin Austin III. He a 2 at best. Bingo says too bad Dermontti Dawson guy out of Kentucky isn't available. Also, Lindsay says like a 5 for real. Bingo, no D in Dallas makes them all ass. Dallas, the only team in the NFC that has not been to the NFC Championship in 30 years. Every other team over there has been to the NFC Championship in the last 30 years. The Cowboys, the only team that hasn't. And notice I didn't throw their name in there when I was talking about strong franchises. Again, you don't see an NFC Championship game in 3 decades. I'm not putting you in that category. It's just not going to happen. Ginzer Joe says this: Steelers don't jump on leads. They like to feel their opponent out. That's kind of what they do. They feel their opponent out. They have this weird defense mechanism, almost like one of them weird animals that they They're slow, but when you attack them, there's something. You're right. It's hard to imagine this team coming out fast like that, and even all the way back to that Super Bowl 20 years ago. A lot of people were surprised to see in that AFC Championship game the Steelers come out to a 17-0 lead over Denver. Again, Denver was the number 1 seed in that playoffs that year. 17-0. Even for that team, it was odd to see a team jump out, one of our Steeler teams jump out like that early. Tortilla says, why jump to a big lead when we can let the other team do that? Mike Rooney, good comment. Donald Lurie, he says this Brian Flores contract is up in Minnesota. Wish he would sign. You know what? It's not out of the question. It's not out of the question. I know a lot of people that like Brian Flores. Tyrone says we could if we ain't call screens and checkdowns. Hot Wangs. Let's see what Hot Wangs is saying. Let's see where this fork in the road goes with Hot Wangs. He says this, or she says this: if we had a loss like the Ravens did, Tomlinson would be gone. Damn shame. See, that's what I'm saying. He's retarded. I'm Hot Wings is retarded because for one, what's Tomlinson got to do with anything? He was a running back out in San Diego for years. So unless I'm just gonna move on. I can't make ends of I can't. Jeremy Rogers is coming back as our new offensive coordinator. That would be interesting. Bingo says Artie Smith leaving. Oh hell yes. Tortilla says who would I blame after Artie Smith? Mike Tomlin? No way. Tortillas just learning. I forget about that weird hire Fitcher for the Steelers on that one. Hot Wangs making odd noises in the corner. Somber Lemon won't make it to 21. Jerry Jones does suck. I couldn't agree more. Hey, he effed his franchise. There's no two ways about it. Jerry Jones certainly effed his franchise in many ways, and it's on nobody but him. It's on nobody but Jerry Jones. He effed that franchise. Shame on him. They could be one of the best. Steeler Freak says bright young offensive coordinator than have him get his quarterback. Any other way is a waste of time. You're right, John. 100% on that. I couldn't agree more. That's the way. And you know what? I think that's what they're doing. Again, building from the inside out through the draft. We could get a good coordinator, guys. Things might be moving in the right direction. Hot Dogs says great defense will get you a ring. Okay. Steeler Freak says Steelers are sloth like. They are sloth like. They find ways to get in you like a poison, and somehow they eliminate you. It's kind of crazy. Again, we've been watching this all my life. It hasn't really changed much. Somber people who type in all caps generally have pretty bad. You know what? Has been the case lately, hasn't it? Hot Dog and who was the last one? There was somebody else that was just one of the Ravens fans, I think. It's probably who it is. Probably one of these Ravens fans. Let's hire Matt Canada. Bruh. Let's hire Canada. Let's go here. Bingo. Go wash your mouth out, Tyrone. See again. I don't know. Well, I see stupidity when I see this guy commenting or gal. I'm guessing it's a. I don't know. Let me move on. Indra Joe says must be a talk to text for Hot Wangs. That's messing you all up. I don't know. It's just kind of again. Sometimes you try to see if you recognize any similarities from anything from the past. And I'm having a. Well, Tater Tot isn't here. Maybe he changes his text up a little bit, comes back as Hot Dog or whatever this guy is. Let's see. What else do we got going on the terrible board? Whatever. He can hang. I don't give a shit. Stick around, Hot Wang. Phyllis still says, son of 9 years of no AFC championship game. Come on, Teflon Dawn. What the fuck? Bingo says, Steel types in all caps. Steel, that's true. Steel, that wasn't who I was thinking of, but you know what? He does do that as well. Of course, our Field of Steel right here on the show. Tortilla says loud noises, and then Yinzer Nation says Steel's two brain cells fighting. Maybe that is Steel. Maybe that is Phil. Yeah, I think he does that sometime. I think he comes back in as other people to prove his points. I'm not sure. But I'm just saying. Steeler Freak says this field of steel writes in all caps, but we let it slide because he lettered and broke bones in high school. There you go. Hey, we love Phil, baby. Let's get to some things. We got a lot of things to get into today. A lot of things actually, as Texans week moves on, as Victory Tuesday continues, and as the Pittsburgh Steelers get ready for their Monday night playoff game coming up this coming Monday, guys, less than a week. Let's get into some topics for the week. Here we go. Let's get into it. The Pittsburgh Steelers and the Texans have the Craig, how do you pronounce his name? Rolstad referee crew. The Craig Rolstad referee crew that is going to be refereeing the playoff game Monday night in Pittsburgh. He actually he was refereeing the Indianapolis Colts game. You feel encouraged by that at all? Possibly. The big Colts win the Steelers had earlier in the season, the 8-1 Colts. The same referee crew that refereed that game, officiated that game, will be officiating our game Monday. In the particular game that he did the crew did refer us, the Indianapolis game. There was 8 penalties for 53 yards called against the Steelers that particular game. So again, it hasn't been anybody that's one of these ridiculous referee crews. It's not one of these officiating crews. It's been controversial. This referee crew, guys, one game this year, they did officiate for the Steelers. Again, it was the win over Indianapolis, a big, maybe one of the most impressive put together games by the Steelers all season. 8 penalties, 53 yards is what we were charged that game by that particular officiating crew. Also, the ball that was missed, did anybody see this story? The ball that was missed, the guy from North Allegheny, the high school that Joey Porter Jr. went to, and a couple other guys even right now that are still in high school, their dads are Steelers. North Allegheny, a teacher from North Allegheny caught the ball that was missed by Tyler Loop on Sunday night. Can you imagine? Can you imagine catching that ball? That's one of the, come on, in the lore of Ravens Steelers, the series, that might be one of the better balls that you could possibly have caught and have and own. Again, a teacher from North Allegheny High School, from where Joey Porter Jr., as Tyrone is saying on the board, Joey Porter Jr. for life. He did catch this football, guys, and that's really cool. Again, good for him. Who would have woke up that day and said, man, I am going to catch the game-winning missed kick football from the big Ravens Steelers game tonight that is going to decide who's going to win the division championship and move to the playoffs. So good on him. Again, and as I said, if you are tuning in right now or just have recently tuned in, I do want to say you're not going to want to miss your chance to grab my balls. That's right, the Grab My Balls playoff giveaway, guys. Right here, this football behind me is autographed by Steelers captain Cam Hayward, all-time leading wide receiver Antonio Brown, hometown Charlie Batch, David DeCastro, Cortez Allen, Derek Moy, and Ross Patrone. Right here, all you got to do is enter $1. $1 will get you entered, guys. We'll be pulling the drawing winner Monday, the day of the playoff game, 7 days from right now. Get in on that, guys. It'll be available all week. It'll stay open all week. Get in, get your entries in, and try to grab this football, giving it away, guys, for the playoff giveaway. Let's move on. There was a lot of things. Give me one moment here. The Steelers. One more thing. We're talking about coaches moving, maybe all these coaches moving around, and people that think that maybe possibly, let's just say we lose. Let's say we lose. Let's say we get embarrassed, and everyone hates Tomlin, and we're all booing him and calling for his head. Do you think Tomlin's going to go anywhere, being one win away from becoming the all-time best coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers? Not bloody likely, huh? Guys, he just tied Chuck Noll. Let's just say he loses. You think he's not going to want to come back to be the all-time winning coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers? No chance in hell, guys. Mike Tomlin, no matter what the situation, if they don't win this week, guys, he will be back. Again, the contract is there, but there's talks about going separate ways. All the rumors that we're hearing, certainly over the past 6 weeks, maybe a little bit more, But again, there's no way, no way. If he does not get a win this week, he will not be back. I'm just saying. Why would you? Why would you leave if you're him? You only need one win to become the best ever, according to these numbers. So again, keep that in mind, guys. There's more of a chance if they win this week and they get their asses beat the next week. There is. For the Steelers to win this week, and he gets that record, and they get their asses beaten in round 2, I think there's a better chance he gets fired, or they decide on something mutual. Again, there's nothing in my mind that thinks that he's going to walk away being tied with Chuck Noll. Why? You've been here for 20 years. Come on, crazy. You know what we're going to do? We're going to take a moment here in a couple seconds to take a look at what the Houston Texans have done this season. We're going to go through their schedule real quick and take a look at what their competition did, the scoring, things like that. We'll get more into it in the depth as the week does go along, but I do want to get into that today. But let me grab some other things here, guys. There's a lot to talk about. I have a lot in front of me, and I don't want to miss a lot of things, guys. Here it is. TJ Watt joins Hall of Famer Lawrence Taylor. Hey, you know what? Where's this Tater at? I need Tater here for this story. I would love for him to be here. TJ Watt joins Hall of Famer Lawrence Taylor and Julius Peppers as the only players ever with 100-plus sacks and 9-plus interceptions in their career in NFL history. Nobody has ever done that. So as they continue on with Myles Garrett and Joe Burrow laying down and giving him the sack and all this kind of BS that everyone's going on about, just know that he is in the company of only 2 other people, the great Lawrence Taylor, and again, Julius Peppers, and not one to laugh at, the only 3 players in NFL history with 100-plus sacks and 9-plus interceptions. That's where TJ's valuable, where he becomes more valuable than Smiles. He drops back, he plays coverage, he intercepts balls. Come on, that obviously means something, and it was a big part of last game. You get 3 points off of that particular interception. We win by 2. Without TJ's interception, maybe we don't win that football game. So again, everything. You got to put everything into consideration. Tyler Loop receiving death threats. You know what? This doesn't surprise me. I'm not for it. I don't condone threatening football players and their families, but that's what's going on. But it doesn't surprise me. We did it to Tommy Maddox here. We lost that playoff game back in 2002, and people were throwing garbage in his yards. I understand that, there's a lot of passion. Again, I don't condone it. But a lot of death threats to the fiance and family of Tyler Loop after missing and getting the Ravens eliminated for the 2nd year in a row on something very simple. You remember last year, Mark Andrews dropped that 2-point conversion that allowed them to be eliminated. This year, Tyler Loop. You know what? Keep rubbing the terrible towel on your ass. That's all I got to say, guys. That's working out really well for you. Steelers MVP, Kenneth Gainwell. I don't think anybody could disagree with this. Everybody loves what Kenneth Gainwell's brought to this team, coming over from the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles last year. Guys, is it concerning to you that the team MVP is literally a second teamer, though? We don't think of him that way, but he is RB2. At the end of the day, guys, who should have stepped up? Who should have been the MVP before the season was played? Who would you have thought at the end of the day? Because again, our second string running back, RB2, Kenneth Gainwell, was the team MVP, and I think rightfully so. I think he deserves it. But at the end of the day, was there any ones on the list that were considered for the team MVP? I don't know. Just kind of something that crossed my mind as I'm thinking about this. Again, Kenneth Gainwell certainly deserved to be MVP, and I'm glad he did get it. Tortilla saying, Will Howard, the real MVP. What else? What else can we get into? What else can we get into today? A lot of things to get into. That's why I'm glad we have the extra day. I'm going to be honest. It's going to allow us to use the time this week to get into everything. This is the playoffs. I'm glad we have the extra day. A lot of things to get into. I know this. I know that the Ravens fans are stunned. Lamar Jackson stunned Lamar is not ready to talk about the future of his where he's doing in the future because of the loss to the Steelers. Everybody in Baltimore is stunned. We beat you 10 out of the last 12 times. How can you be stunned? This is how stupid people in Baltimore are. I'll never change my opinion on that. Never. Baltimore people are. Remember this, guys. One more thing I do want to say. Remember, they are the Browns. Do what you want with it. They are the Browns. We basically have 3 Ohio teams in our division. It's us against Ohio. And surprise, surprise, we're at the top. Lamar Jackson again stunned. Ravens fans in disbelief after the game Sunday night. One of my favorites. One of my favorites. Let's move on. Jack Sawyer. Jack Sawyer, guys, our rookie linebacker from Ohio State. He was a teammate of C.J. Stroud just a couple seasons ago. Jack Sawyer offers scouting report for and on the former teammate C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud's something special, guys. He is their franchise quarterback, and he's a guy that they should be happy is their franchise quarterback down there in Houston. Jack Sawyer, though, being a good buddy of his, a good friend on that Ohio State team, has insight. So a lot of times you read about these teams, they bring in somebody that played here in the past. Oh, what are they going to tell them? Jack Sawyer, we got one too, guys. We have a mole. We have somebody that could give some valuable, just maybe little nuances that you could pick up on. It all goes a long way. Again, teammate with CJ Stroud at Ohio State. He says that he has a lot of information and he's sharing as they prepare for the Houston Texans. Becca Noob says this: weirdly Cleveland are weirdly responsible, for lack of a better term, for 3 of 4 AFC North teams. It's true. Paul Brown and yeah, you're right. I do want to say welcome to the terrible board to Becca. And I also do want to say welcome to Steel Loyal as well. Steel Loyal's been here before. I do want to say welcome back. Hey Alexa, play Daddy's Home by Usher. A lot of action going on the board. I'm not keeping up with everything that I'm catching out of the corner of my eye, but it seems interesting here at some points. I will be getting back to the board shortly. I do want to get to some of these topics, though, before we do move on. The Pittsburgh Steelers, they cut, guys. They cut Pittsburgh Steelers cut 6'3" DB Trey Flowers, guys. As DK comes back, that space, that spot itself actually opens, shut somebody else out. So we bring in 6'3" Trey Flowers last week to play in the defensive backfield. We did release him now because DK's back. So that's technically why that move happened. It's not the same position, not even the same side of the ball, but we needed that spot to open up for DK. So the help of Trey Flowers, we did separate ways with him. He is no longer on the team. Grab a couple more and we will get back to the board here. Connor Hayward hated the tush push initially. When it all started, he hated it. Now Connor Hayward loves the tush push, guys, as it becomes an integral part of it. Basically, either has his brother or Big Mount Washington just pushing him as hard as they can forward. But again, the Pittsburgh plunge, I'm hearing people call the new tush push here in Pittsburgh. Connor Hayward, not a big fan of the tush push. Now he loves it. So do what you want with that as well. Again, I don't want this team to make too many risks in this game. This is a game that you got to play smart. A good defense like this, we just seen it with Cleveland. We just seen this with the defense that Cleveland has, and you know what I mean? You got to get your points. They're at a premium. Got to get them. You got to get them. Play smart. This is where the best teams play. This is where the best teams play, guys, in the playoffs. So you got to be able to come out and play your best. Let me move on. The brotherly shove, as Aaron Jade is saying. I do want to say welcome to Aaron Jade. He did have his Here We Go Steelers. Also, I did see that as well. Let me get through a few more topics here, guys. We will get caught up on the board. Like I said, I do want to pull up the Houston Texans schedules from this season. We'll take a look at what they did, who they beat, who they lost to, and how it compares to what the Steelers might have done. We'll do that all here just shortly. I don't want to miss any of these. Again, there's a lot of things to get into this week. They mentioned on the game the other night, Aaron Rodgers, 4 nights a week. 4 nights a week, he's hanging out with his receivers and his teammates and stuff, guys. You got to like that. Everybody that thought he was going to be a bad teammate, everybody that thought he was going to be a distraction, everybody that thought it was going to be a shit show, did he prove us wrong? I mean, it's not the greatest season, but considering everything we just went through for the past decade, I got to be honest with you. Very, very happy that we made the move. What we do for moving forward, I don't know. We don't know what's going to happen with Aaron Rodgers, but at the end of the day, still here we are. End of the season, he's having guys over for 4 days a week, getting familiar, knowing the guys, knowing I got to be honest with you guys. It worked out a lot better than I initially thought it was going to. Colin Cowherd. Colin Cowherd, who goes on and on and on about the Steelers being bad all the time. Colin Cowherd likes the Steelers' chances with Mike Tomlin coaching this Monday night football game. Again, the Steelers have never, well, not in 34 years, they have never lost a home Monday night football game. From Cowherd's tenure all the way through Tomlin. Whatever that is, I don't know. But all I do know is 1992 was the last time the Steelers lost they've won every single home Monday night game since then. 23-0, as Steel Loyal was saying on the board. Thank you, Steel. So even Colin Cowherd, who is one of the biggest haters and doubters of the Steelers, he is saying that, you know what, you can't compete against Mike Tomlin on Monday nights. And for whatever reason, he's kind of right. The numbers, that's what the numbers say anyway. Also, who else? Chad Ochocinco, from one of them teams from the other divisions in the team from our division, of course. Ochocinco predicts that Pittsburgh beats Houston. So you're going to hear a lot of different shit this week, guys. We're going to hear a lot about that we're going to lose. We're going to hear a lot about how we're going to win. Any way you slice it, guys got to get in and prepare and get ready. We're as healthy as we've been probably all season, if you think about it. So that shouldn't be the case. That shouldn't be the issue. You get DK Metcalf, who I feel owes us a little bit. Say what you want. It's going to be really cold. These guys are coming from Houston, Texas, where I've spent a month there one afternoon. The heat was unbelievable. What else do we got? Keanu Benton said the Steelers did pick up on certain Raven little nuances that allowed them to stop the run. He didn't explain and get into it. But this is what I'm saying about CJ. I think if you find little things that you know, and somebody like Jack Sawyer might have certain information, just little things that you pick up. Again, it allowed us to keep King Henry at bay. Those little nuances. Benton did come out and say that there were things that they picked up on. Again, didn't get into it more, but we seem to know when they were running and when they didn't. Let's hope that we can get some of that back again this weekend. Again, with Jack Sawyer being a pretty good friend and a teammate at Ohio State with CJ Stroud in the past. We have things in our favor. We do. They are 12-5. They're a good team. They're 12-5 and they finished second. So Jacksonville, the team that they competed with, was good. You know, there's things about this Houston team that are certainly are impressive. That is why it is the playoffs. This is why you're the best 14 teams. This is the 14 best teams going at it to see who comes out on top. What else? A couple more things, and then again, I'm going to get back to the board. And again, I am going to get into this Houston schedule. A lot of things going on today. Two more topics here. Two more things to talk about. Let's talk about Cam Hayward. I'm going to say this. You know how we always were kind of on this show. I've kind of had issues with Cam over the past couple of years. I just kind of felt that he really isn't bringing it and giving us all. And he takes about 4 practices off a week for rest days. If he would play the way he played Sunday night all the time, he would be one of the best defensive tackles in the league. With that being said, they do play in a climate control stadium end of days. You're right, but they're acclimated to the hot weather. Everything they do in their life, And again, their stadium certainly wouldn't match, I guess, what our temperature is going to be. But we'll get to that more in just a moment. But if Cam played like he played Sunday night all year long, he would be one of the better defensive tackles in the league. Where I say that he's not. He could get lazy through the course of a season. Granted, he did play good this year. He played out of his mind. But if you watch Cam the past 2 years, and they continue to say Cam Hayward's one of the best defensive tackles in the league, I thought they were crazy because he wasn't. Big Goose says he can't play like that his whole time. This heart would explode. But if he did, wouldn't you agree that he would be one of the best defensive tackles in the league instead of them just saying it now, probably because of respect? But realistically, Vegas saying PFF has Cam's number one defensive lineman, which is BS. He's not the best defensive lineman in the league. Is he good? Yes. Is he effective? Yes. Is he having a good year? Yes. But the best in the league? That's crazy talk. But if he played the way he played Sunday night all the time, he would be one of the best defensive players in the league. A couple more things. Cam says this. He says, I'm not satisfied with the AFC North title, and I like that. It sounds to me like he's ready to carry this over into the next game, and that is exactly what we need. The leaders need to be leaders. At this point, this is when you've got to do this is when you earn your money as a leader. You want to be the captain, and you are. You want to have a little a little patch on your shoulder, and you do. Now you got to go out and do your business, handle your business, be that leader, get your team ready, get them fired up, ready to play, and go out and do what it is that you do and keep it at a high level. This is what I expect from Cam Hayward, the best defensive tackle in the league, which is crazy. Ugh. But that's what you should expect from that particular person, I would think, right? Keep this thing going, Cam. Keep it going. One more topic, and then we're going to get into these other things, guys. Debo, my man, James Harrison says this. He accuses Joe Burrow of laying down, giving Smiles Carrot the sack, which I think is what happened. I think that is true. But also Debo says this about Joe Burrow. Hey, Joe, lobbying maybe a little bit to have the young man become the Steeler quarterback. A lot of different opinions on this. People are going to come out right off the cut and are going to say, no, we don't want him. He's too injury prone, which I agree. But James Harrison was on his podcast with Joe Hayden, and he did. He was saying that he said to Joe Burrow, he laid out these messages to him. He says, we're having fun over here. Why don't you come over here? We're having fun. And he also says, you could be that piece, is two comments that James Harrison made about Joe Burrow, who will more than likely not be a Bengal moving forward. Again, whatever it is that we do decide for our quarterback situation here in Pittsburgh, I don't know. I don't know the way it's going to turn out. Again, I think a lot still plays on what's going to happen over these next couple of weeks for us. But again, lobbying to bring Joe Burrow. Again, guys, if you like it, you don't like it. He did take the Bengals to the Super Bowl in his first couple seasons. So again, he's worth it. But can he stay healthy? I don't know. He hasn't shown us that he could, but again, he's been a Bengal. They got shit going on over there. So again, Tortilla saying 29 is the new 24 in quarterback years. Let me pull up. I'm going to pull up the Houston Texans schedule, guys. I'm going to get back to some of these messages. Mike, if he's causing too much problems, just get rid of this guy. Unless everybody on the board is unless they're enjoying.
Like I'm having fun reading his comments and everyone else's comments towards him, so I'm letting it slide.
Okay, that's fine. I'm really message for message. I'm not on top of what's going on, so you use your best judgment. Okay. All right, let's get into what the Houston Texans have done this season. We're going to take a look just to get an example. And as the week goes on, we're going to get more into, the depth of what they are, what their defense is, what their offense is, a lot of things. We got to get into all that information, guys, over the next 7 days. And we're going to do so. But today we are going to get into what their schedule looked like this year, what the results were. So I'm pulling it up right now. I swear I am. Here we go. Find the first game of the season, which would be about right here. Here we go. First game of the year. The Rams beat the Texans. First game of the year. The Rams did beat the Texans in Los Angeles, 14-9. The Texans did start 0-1. In the second game of the year, the Buccaneers beat the Texans in Houston, 20-19. the Texans started 0-2. Third game of the year, the Jaguars within the division, they beat the Texans, guys, 17-10. 17-10. Fourth game, right now to kick off the season, Texans are 0-3. Fourth game, they get the lowly Titans. And again, you gotta consider the division. You got to consider the division. Yes, Houston has played great. And yes, their defense has been devastating. But when you're playing the Tennessee Titans twice, and who else? Come on, the Colts were overrated. Yes, Jacksonville is better. But again, a 26-0 win over the Titans, guys, puts them at 1-3 to start the season. The 44-10 Baltimore win. They beat Baltimore in week 5, 44-10. That's interesting. But Baltimore was pretty bad early. As you remember, they started 1-5. Next game on the list, the same team that beat us by 14 points. I think it was 14. 13 or 14 points. They played the Seattle Seahawks, guys. They traveled to Seattle in week 6, and the Seattle Seahawks beat the Texans 27-19. So, again, we both lose to that team. The Texans did beat San Francisco in the following week at home. They beat them 26-15. After that, the Broncos beat the Houston Texans. The Broncos 18-15. In this particular game against the Texans, they beat Jacksonville 36-29. Next time against the Titans. Now, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. Watch this footage. Go back and watch the tape on this game. The Texans beat the Titans 16-13. Whatever it is that the Titans did in that particular game, study the shit out of it. Because Tennessee is terrible. 16-13, the Titans only lost to the Texans in that game. Next game, another one that might concern you. So again, guys, we're looking at this from both sides. The Texans beat the Bills 23-19. The Bills. I think we all remember that game. Texans win 23-19. The Texans beat the Colts 20-16. We beat the Colts 27-20. So similar score there. Texans did beat the Chiefs. The Chiefs really aren't great this year. The Chiefs, of course, they lose 20-10 to Houston at home. The following week, the Texans did beat the Cardinals 40-20. And then they struggled with the Raiders just a few weeks back. The Texans beat the Raiders, but it was only 23-21. Following that, they beat the Chargers 20-16. They did finish strong. They finished their year strong, and that's how they did finish at 12-5. But again, we'll look and see what else they had going on here. They did wrap up the season with a 38-30 win last week, guys. So again, when you compare what it is they did, the game against the Colts, that's encouraging. The games against the Colts, I'm sorry. Also the game against the Titans. When the Titans almost win that football game, you got to go back and learn about this football team from those situations. And I think they will. That's their job, obviously. But again, that is how the Texans got to 12-5. Nothing too overly impressive. They were rough at the beginning of the year. They gained momentum. And they have a nice little team with the defense and some guys on offense. So, again, this team, there's a lot to learn about heading into them, guys. They're beatable, but they are not going to roll over for you. They will not come to Pittsburgh and roll over. Maybe, again, this weather could be the great neutralizer at the end of the day. But this team is beatable. The Houston Texans is beatable. Is the Steelers subject to losses? Yeah, of course. Everybody is. But at the end of the day, we do have some things going in our favor, guys. I'm liking our chances. I am liking our chances. I do think we win this playoff game. We do break that little streak that we've been putting together over the past decade or so. I think that the time has come. If the time doesn't come this week, guys, heads need to roll. And again, I just don't know how that's going to play out with coach being just one win from being the all-time best winningest Steeler coach in history. But heads need to roll if they don't win this football game on Monday. They do. And also, as Roger's saying, Stroud wasn't there for a couple of those wins. So again, a lot to get into, guys. There's a lot of information that we're going to have to get into this week to try to, at least on our end, figure out if we think that the Steelers can get it done. I do think the Steelers can get it done. I do think that, and I do believe that we will win Monday night. Let me take a look just one more time, make sure I'm not missing anything as we are rounding third on the show today. Got that. I do think we are caught up on all my notes. Let me jump back on the board. I'm going to kind of do a random jump around because there was a lot here since the last time I was on the board. I'm going to go right here. What about forced fumbles? Mark Malone said. Let me move up a little bit here. End of days, the Ravens thought they had the game, but old man Rodgers. There you go. The old man. That's what I'm saying. Right, end of days. They were confident they were going to come to town and win. You can't beat us twice in a season, they're saying. We're going to kill the old man. He's not going to do it. Well, guess what? That isn't how it played out. When you have an organization as strong as the Steelers, guys, we're always in it. We truly are. Again, winning the Super Bowl is hard. Nobody's done it more than we have. I'm just saying. So, a lot of people will try to discourage you. It ain't going to work. When you're the top, that's what happens. When you're the top dog, they all hate. So, you know what? Tortilla says, Hot Wang watches some weird shit. Let me move up here. Let's go here. Becca says, don't have high hopes, just hoping for a playoff win, not outside realm of possibility to win it all, but not likely. I agree. And you know what? That's what the part of being a fan is. Hoping your team can get it done that year. The fact of the matter, it's very difficult, and nobody's done it more than we have. So we're not, your team is not a failure. Your team is one of the best. JPJ has the highest in NFL cornerbacks this season with a 95.3 lockdown. That's awesome. I couldn't be happier for him. I love JPJ. Feel the Steel. Let's see what he got going on. Oh, wait, I lost it. Oh, here it is. Feel the Steel says, you know what? Fuck all of you. I'm pulling a vanilla exit, and Tomlin hasn't done shit for the black and gold, but take the money. TJ Watt, Roethlisberger, and Cowers boys made Teflon's career. There you go. Let's see what Somber says here. Somber says, I'm guessing Deshaun Jameson playing well at gunner had a lot to do with Flower. Absolutely. Jameson looked really nice playing the gunner position the other day. Andrew Joe says, was Trey Flowers any good? Is it possible to get him back? You know what? He was a body. That's the way that it seemed to me. I don't think we will miss Trey Flowers. He had nice size, 6'3" as a DP. Of course, DB is a great size, but at the end of the day, I think we'll be fine without Mr. Flowers. Phil's all butthurt. I don't know what his deal is. Phil says, see y'all wake up. Hey, you said, well, you're not going to enjoy your team? You're not going to enjoy football? Nah, come on, dude. Just Tyrone says, hush, I'll keep to myself. I don't know who they're going. I think they're talking about Phil on the board. I don't know. I'm seeing two people with big letters, and I'm seeing responses. I'm not sure who's going. Who's the recipients of all the capital letters? I don't think he did. Mark Maloney says, I don't think Flowers played a snap. As far as I know, he didn't. As far as I know, he did not. Yinzer Joe says, Texans have a mid-tier offense, but are number one on defense. Our defense has to get after Stroud. They sure do. And the days, come on, Steelers. Bingo says maybe 33 can take Stroud out for a long night on hookers and blow. Maybe Mark Malone. 33 and Stroud. Maybe they could all go out and enjoy themselves the night before. That'd be nice. Mark, if you're listening, Street says he's earning that bonus. I do want to, or Steele, I'm sorry, Steele says this. Let me scoot up a little bit here. Roger says Cam has been balling ever since the fire Tomlin. We should have been chanting that years ago with him, right? If that's what got Cam Hayward excited, we should have been doing the fire Tomlin chants in 2021. But you're right. It certainly did seem to be that was when that change was made. Yinzer Nation, let's see. If he wants to be called the best, he has to go out and play like it. You're right. Game out. That's it. You have to prove yourself, dude. If you want to be the best defensive tackle, go out and be the best defensive tackle. Don't give 75% and wonder why people are saying that you're not that guy. Tyrone says this. I don't think he commented. I don't see him either. Hot Wang says they think they're the Steelers of the South. Who's that? The Texans? You know what? They're following the right pattern. The Steelers generally have good generally. Before you jump on and say the Steelers defense, no, they generally have good defense historically for the past 50 years. They're doing a lot of things that are smart. And you know what? There's teams that do take after the Steelers that become successful. The Baltimore Ravens, they went from a Cleveland Brown system going to Baltimore and basically changing their team into a very similar system that the Steelers have. Pound for pound, everything that the Ravens do, how similar. Come on. I think that you have to be crazy not to see the similarities on what the Ravens organization has become. Very similar, which is smart in my opinion, because you have to compete in a division. In Cleveland, they're a lost cause. In Cincinnati, nobody knows what the hell they got going on. And Baltimore is the one team that figured it out. And guess what? Baltimore's won a couple of Super Bowls since then as well. So do what you want with that. Roger said Stroud. Oh, yes. He wasn't there for a couple of those wins. I did get that one. Dum Yinzers says the Thunder likes all flavors. Mark Malone, I don't think he did not. He did not take a snap. Tortilla, the Texans are 4-3 on Monday nights. Is that true? It sounds. I'm not sure. Mike, if you could look into that, the Texans 4-3 on Monday night. Good question. Bring back the priest, please. End of days. Bring back that priest. Bless the end zone. Do what you got to do. By all means, bring the pigeons from a couple years ago. Bring the priest from last week. Whatever you do. Bring it all hands on deck. If there's any game this season that you would say all hands on deck, this would certainly be it, as this is the wild card round of the playoffs. The Steelers trying to break somewhat of a not so favorable last decade as far as when it comes to the postseason, and not only losing a lot of these games, losing bad in a lot of these games. So we're hoping to see a little bit of a change, guys, this year, getting a win this week on Monday night in the Pittsburgh weather over the Texans, guys. I think it's a possibility. Again, not going to be an easy game by any means, but certainly a possibility, guys. I truly do believe that. A couple things I do want to say before I get ready to start wrapping things up today. I do want to say I want to give a shout out to a few of our friends that were on the board yesterday. Of course, I whenever there was a lot happening and people were just when I was trying to get everything out yesterday, I briefly talked about a friend Kellerhaus hopped up on the board, and I was kind of stumbling on my words, but I was doing 3 other things. His show that I did mention, we are friends with that show as well. That show is called Wombo Combo. They do cover the Pittsburgh sports and Steelers as well. And then also Talking Trash with the Steeler Gang. Those are our guys, Tyrone, Jamal, Cody, Somber, Armac, all those guys you see on the board are from over there at that show. Go check them out. Great stuff, guys. Talking Trash with the Steeler Gang right here on YouTube. Good guys. Good stuff, guys. Go check them out. What else? I seen a video. Can anybody relate to this? I seen a video. It was a compilation of people celebrating when the Steelers won, when that field goal was missed at the end of the game on Sunday night. I can relate heavily. They showed little kids getting excitable. They showed older people, a lot of people in the middle. I did also do exactly what they were doing, and I think maybe many of you, Steel Loyal, you've seen that video. How many of you guys did the same thing? I sure did. I did this thing with my feet like 53 times in like 2 seconds, and I'm just kind of curious. See what you guys really freak out and really celebrate, and I'm just curious. Again, it was awesome to see, and I know that I certainly am very, very guilty. I was Tyrone. He said I ran around. I absolutely. I know every one of you did. That's why I wanted to bring it up, guys. It was like this choppy crab walk thing that I was doing across the floor. It is what it is, but very interesting, guys. If you haven't had a chance, it certainly will make you smile. Go pull that up. That celebration by Steeler fans across the country and the world watching their team pull off that upset, I guess you would call it, on Sunday night, allowing us to win the AFC North and advance to the playoffs for the 3rd year in a row. Believe it or not, guys, 3rd year in a row. We are back. And with that being said, I'm gonna grab a couple. Let me grab a couple of these guys, and I will start to wrap things up here. Street says there were 60 million. Oh, he missed it at that very moment. Oh, he missed it at that very moment. Yes, absolutely. Sommer says 0-6 away playoff game, 6-12 on Monday Night Football, and we're 23-0. I still don't trust it. Just win, please. I agree. Vegas says this. I like watching the fans on their home videos reacting to make that. Dude, it was great. If you haven't had a chance, do yourself a favor and pull that up. Something to buy some time to get you to the playoffs here. Great stuff. It truly makes your hair stand. It does, because again, I think we were all doing the same thing. Aaron says I did. Aaron Jade, I did again. I think a lot of us did. Mark Malone, I knew Myron stepped in. And Myron did step in from above. He came in last week. He said he was going to help us. And you know what? By the weirdest odds ever, there was that second field goal under 60 seconds by the Ravens. Again, should have been a chip shot. Our field goal kicker missed the extra point, made it a 2-point game. You think, this is supposed to happen. They're going to make this field goal. They're going to win by 1, 27-26. But no, this is where Myron stepped in. No, this is where the Holy Water stepped in. No, this is where the pigeons, everything that everybody did that day is sitting in your super suspicious spot, holding your towel, wearing your jersey. It all played into that. Believe me, guys. Call me crazy, but you know what it is? What it is. Street Loyal said the power of Myron and the terrible towel and that. Absolutely. That's forget Aaron Rodgers. Those are the things that got it done, right, guys? I also do want to say this one more time before we do get ready to start wrapping it up. Do not forget this week, guys. This week, all the way up until Monday, we do have the Grab My Balls playoff giveaway. That's right. This autographed football right behind me from my personal collection, guys. It was autographed by Captain Cam Hayward, all-time receiving leader for the Steelers, Antonio Brown, Charlie Batch, David DeCastro, Derek Moy, Cortez Allen, and Ross Vitrone. Guys, their autographs, all 7 of them on this beautiful Nike football. Guys, get your entries in on the super chat below. Just $1. $1 is the entry. You can enter as many times as you want. But Monday, the game day for the playoffs, we will be drawing to see who does win in this Grab My Balls playoff giveaway. Guys, don't forget, we did have some entries today. We had entries yesterday. Guys, I do want to say good luck to you. I want to say thank you for entering. But that is what's going on with this giveaway. Next Monday, we will be drawing that. So don't miss out if you do want to have a shot. And right now, it still looks like it's anybody's game. Nobody came in and really went crazy. So I think if you're interested, I think the chance in there to win this ball is actually still pretty good. So get in on that. Steelers still loyal to the crowd. Pop, what he meant, dude. That pop was unbelievable. It was like a WWE Stone Cold Steve Austin glass breaking coming out, or The Rock, or one of these amazing wrestlers. That's the pop it was, guys, in Acrisure Stadium on Sunday night. It was truly unbelievable, and to be at that game, I can imagine was great stuff. And if you were there, good for you. I hope you enjoyed yourself. It would seem like be one of the more amazing home games, especially within this rivalry between these two guys. You got to say, had to be super atmosphere. TJ Watt said he never seen anything like it. So Street Loyal, you were there. That's awesome. So Tyrone, no games for you. Street Loyal, games for you. Just kidding, Ty. You go to any of them, my man. You are 4-1, 5-4-1. I do want to say these few things before we do get ready to wrap up, though, guys. If you haven't had a chance, go check out any of our social media. We are all over the internet, guys. You can check us out at Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter, Instagram, Threads, and even TikTok. Go over and just hit the follow button, and you keep up with what the two Dumb Yinzers are up to on a day-to-day basis. Also, if you haven't yet, do hit the like button down below. Hit that, the sub, the share, the comment, anything that you want to do. It all helps us out in the algorithm. We certainly appreciate it all. Thank you so much, guys. I do also want to say, what else do I want to say? You know what? We still have to get in the trivia. What am I crazy? Am I crazy? I must be crazy. Let's get into this trivia before we start wrapping things up. Is time for how well do you know your enemy? How well do you know your opponent this week? It is Houston Texans questions as we do move toward the big game with the Houston Texans on Monday night here on the North Shore, guys. 8:15 start in the wild card, the very last game of the weekend. We get to enjoy all the playoffs and then finally sit back and watch our game at the end. I'm very excited, just like everybody else. I can't wait, guys. But put on your thinking caps. Here we go. Everybody on the board, everybody at home. Here is the question of the day. How well do you know the Texans? Here we go. What was the Houston Texans' inaugural season? I'm looking for a year. What was the year that the Texans became a team in the NFL? Put your thoughts up on the board. Throw your guesses up there, guys. We are live. We're live 5 days a week, right here, Monday through Friday, 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. every day, right here on the tube. Also, guys, do go check out our website as well over at www.the2dumyinzers.com. That's www.the2dumyinzers.com. A lot of good stuff over on our website. Mike puts a lot of work into it. He does have his dumb comments. He has links for all of our shows from the past. He also has contact information, and even also, if you are interested and think that this logo is sharp, right next to me here, guys, there's all kind of merchandise you could go with that, get that logo on it. Go check our website out at www.the2dumyinzers.com. All right, everybody, question of the day. How well do you know your enemy? How well do you know your opponent? The question is about the Texans today. This is the question of the day, guys. Here we go one more time. What was the Houston Texans' inaugural season? I'm looking for a year. Tyrone is saying 1970. Now, it's the Texans organization. Listen, this can get confusing because of Houston and the Titans, and we're just talking about the Houston Texans. So I just want to clear that up a little bit, guys. I see Tyrone says 1970. Steel Loyal saying 98, 99, I think. So I just want to clear that up a little bit because that might throw you off with the Oilers and the Titans and that move. And we're just specifically talking about the Houston Texans. October 6, 1999 is what End of Days is saying. Very specific on that guess. Corey says, I hope they shut me up Monday and win a playoff. I mean, me too, dude. I do want to say welcome to Corey. Always great seeing you, my man. I'll lay off Mike T for one more year. Right? I agree. Vegas says, I remember when Tommy was our quarterback and we got blown out by the Texans 24. I think it was 24-6, but I know the game. We were supposed to win. Yes. I know exactly where I was sitting, Vegas, when this game was happening. So frustrating. We really should have beat that team. They beat us, and it was all on these weird. It was a pick six. It was a fumble interception for a touchdown. They scored on all these weird ways. It was 24-6 was that final count against the Texans. I know exactly. I know exactly where I was sitting, where I was at. Yes. Mark Malone says no, not the Oilers. Correct. Steel Loyal says this. I was young when the Texans became a thing. I know that. 1990 is what Corey is saying on the board. Guys, throw your, again, one more time. What was the Houston Texans' inaugural season? I'm looking for a year. Some different answers on the board. Throw your guesses up there, guys. I'll give you a few more moments, and then we are going to give you the answer. As we do get ready to wrap things up for this Tuesday installment of the Two Dumb Yinzers, I do want to say thank you to everybody for coming and hanging out today. You guys, again, super, so much going on this week. I do apologize. I don't not see every message. I do go back and I watch and I read through everything. So keep the messages coming. I apologize if I didn't get to you today. Of course, you know, here on the show that I try to make my best attempt to get to every comment on the board. Tyrone is saying 1985. All right, guys, here we go. Question of the day. How well do you know the Texans? How well do you know your enemy? How well do you know your opponent? This is how it goes down, guys. What was the Houston Texans' inaugural season? A lot of different answers on the board, but the correct answer, a little later than everybody has went so far on the board. Correct answer for the inaugural season for the Houston Texans, 2002. They've only been around for a little over 20 years, 23 years. Houston Texans, guys, 2002. 2002 is the answer for that on the day. Great job, though, guys. Great guesses. Steele says, no, Tyrone, I was alive when the Texans became a team. I think it was later than that. It was 2002. 2002, guys. That is the question of the day. And the answer of the day. Pittsburgh Steelers hosting the Houston Texans Monday night, 8:15 wild card round of the playoffs. The last game of the weekend, as we were the last game of the season. and it took every single second of our NFL season to get it done, to become AFC North champions, and to make the playoffs. So again, we are the last game once again this week. Yeah, maybe it's we'll ride off the juju. Who knows? But they're coming from Houston, Texas, to play in cold-ass Pittsburgh in Western Pennsylvania Monday night. Mike Tomlin never lost a game ever, while hosting on Monday night. So we got things in our favor, guys. It's not going to be easy by any means. Great defense. A lot of things to talk about, guys, as this week does continue. Of course, we'll be back tomorrow at our regular time to get into so much. Believe me, the guys, the information and things that we have to get into, we could go more hours on every day. I have so much stuff to get into. We have a lot to get into this week, so we hope to see everybody back at our regular time tomorrow. I do want to say this. I want to say thank you, everybody, for coming and hanging out and checking us out. We certainly appreciate each and every one of you. We truly, honestly do. We wouldn't do it without you guys. Thank you so much. I want to say thank you to everybody on the board. You guys always keep things interesting here on the show. You are, as I say it all the time, the lifeblood of the show. And everybody at home, whether you are listening on your car, at work, in the gym, in your buds, pods, phones, whatever the case may be, on your TV maybe, watching, thank you too. You guys all make this worth it, and is why we continue to do it. Finally, I do want to say this. I do want to say, don't forget, now in Giant Eagle, I do see that they have available Duquesne Pilsner as the company continues to keep growing and growing back and getting its momentum back, guys. Stop by and do get yourself a case or a 12-pack of Duquesne Pilsner for the big game on Monday or all the games throughout the weekend. The guys over at Duquesne Pilsner go out of their way to include us in their promotions, and we are forever grateful for that. Do show them some love, guys. Stop by and get yourself a 6-pack, 12-pack, a case for the big games this weekend. Duquesne Pilsner, brewed right here in Pittsburgh, and as it says right on the can, grab a Duke. Let's see. I thank you so much, guys. Let me grab a couple of these. I don't want to. Again, I try to stay up to date. Plus, I'm a bit insane. With my OCDs and things like this. Very important to try to get all these in. Tyrone says, I was one. He was not. He was one. He was one when the Texans became a team. Steele says this. Damn, I was 7, and today's closer to 12. The official time it shows 11:30 to 1:30, but a lot of times it goes 12ish to 2:30, give or take. So I'm going to say tomorrow 12 should be close enough. That's the best I can give you at the moment. Miss Pittsburgh, I appreciate that as always. Tyrone, we appreciate that as always, my friend. Steel, you're being projected on a town water tower. Steel, my whole town is watching, guys. Everybody, again, thank you so much. You are amazing. I can't say enough about everybody that comes and participates on the Terrible board and just watches and everything else. Guys, this was an amazing year for us, the best ever. And I don't want to not say thank you. I can't say it enough. Believe me. Thank you so much. I think maybe there was anything else. I think that is everything, guys. So I'm going to wrap it up. Again, thank you so much. We hope to see everybody tomorrow. We'll be back at our regular time. We'll get into so much to try to prepare for this game on Monday. I think we win this football game. I think you think we're going to win this football game. Let's get it done, guys. We'll be back tomorrow. Hope to see everybody then. For Mike, for Derpy, for Finch, the 2 Dum Yinzers, and myself, everybody have a great Victory Tuesday, if you will. Hope to see you tomorrow. Have a great day. We'll see you then.